The annual Xbox Games Showcase has officially been announced with one big caveat that has a lot of people disappointed, something that will be missing from this year's showcase. So we will take a look at the announcement as well as some of the reactions as to what people are thinking with this major part of the showcase missing. We have Outer Worlds 2 coming, and this was also part of the announcements of the Xbox Game Showcase, but we got a nice gameplay trailer for it. It is looking great, and we have a lot of information about this game as well as where they're going to be putting this game, what platforms, what launchers, all of that Xbox continuously keeps expanding out. Titanfall 3, the rumors keep going out there, but there's now back and forth here as to whether this game is real or not. Are we getting Titanfall 3? So we will look at that. More Nintendo Switch 2 news, some more disappointing news, as well as some potentially good news here. If you are in Canada, you are in the United States, and you're still waiting for a pre-order date, it could be coming based off of the news that we did get yesterday. Assassin's Creed Shadows already winning awards, so we will look at that. But before we jump into it, if you enjoy daily gaming news and content, make sure to hit the subscribe, share the video, like the video. I see many of you who do watch here on a daily basis are not subscribed, so I would really appreciate it if you did hit the subscribe button, help the channel grow. 8 a.m.s every day, keeping you up to date on everything happening within the gaming industry. So the last number of years, the Xbox Game Showcase has stolen this show, at least for the last 2 years. I think by far they've had the best showcase out there with the most interesting, exciting games and just the most content out there for gamers to be able to go in, jump in and play. And what they have been doing here is showing us stuff that we are going to be playing relatively soon, especially for this year's showcase. I believe it is going to be showing off the second half here of 2025 and games that we're going to be getting day one into Xbox Game Pass, and then obviously some stuff that we will be playing beyond that. And we're also going to be seeing the Outer Worlds 2 with a direct after the Xbox Game Showcase. They put out an official announcement here giving us the date, the time, and more information on what we're going to be seeing at this year's showcase. Here it is, and it says that the Xbox Games Showcase followed by the Outer Worlds 2 direct airs on June 8th, and this is going to be starting at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then 6 p.m. UK time. And they say following in the footsteps of the 2023 Starfield Direct and the 2024 Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Direct, this year we'll again have a double feature with the Xbox Game Showcase immediately followed by the Outer Worlds 2 Direct. And they do say here that you're going to see upcoming titles from across first-party studios, in addition to incredible new titles from third-party partners across the globe. And then the big caveat here that I think has a lot of people disappointed this year, at least if they were planning on getting out to it physically, because there is still Summer Games Fest, which is on June 6th. It's starting there. So there's people flying out to LA just to see that. And I think they were sitting there hoping that the weekend would end again like last year with the Xbox Game Showcase to top it all off. But they say here that this year the show will be digital only. Our live stream will bring you everything you'll need to know about what's next for Xbox, no matter where in the world that you are watching. So no physical event here for the Xbox Showcase, no fan fest, which is something that Xbox fans have been accustomed to. They do a great job with it, at least from the pictures and the videos and the comments that I've heard. I mean, I've never been there. I was hoping one day to get there. I wouldn't have been able to go this year, but at some point I was hoping to get to the Xbox Fan Fest, and hopefully they do end up bringing this back. But you have a lot of people disappointed. Obviously, Xbox influencers, content creators, Xbox fans who like to go there, meet up with people, especially in the podcasting community where people are getting together all the time online, doing shows, but don't actually meet up in person. This was that event where things did occur, but there is no in-person event. And the question is why? I think mainly it probably has to do with just the financial, fiscal things that are going on, that they're trying to cut costs in basically any way possible. Obviously, the craziness that's happening around the world economically is continuing, and they're looking at ways that they can save some money, probably not going to affect them as a business, as a company that's just trying to sell their games to as many people as possible. And they look at this as an easy way to just cut down those costs. You go here to the Xbox Fan Fest, you can see a lot of the reactions. Like I said, I've never been to this, but you can see some of the pictures here. Like you have Boom here saying it's very sad that there isn't a Fan Fest this year, but here are shots from when they were previously there, when he was previously there. You have Sean here saying, I've been blessed to be able to go to a handful of Xbox Fan Fest events in the past years. I'll definitely miss meeting up with the awesome people in the community. It truly made some lifelong friends. Even my wife saw firsthand that this is truly something special. You have Colt Eastwood here who's saying Xbox Fan Fest 2019 to 2024. So glad I got to meet you all. End of an era. Now he's insinuating here that it's over forever with this tweet, because that would mean that it's not coming back. Maybe he knows something that we don't know. However, that would be sad if it never does come back. You have a question here from Mr. Bailey in the comments. What makes you think it won't start again at some point in the future, Colt? And he says, I just think they are done with live in-person showcase. He said, you have Kevin Corkenstein here saying, I get it, honestly, and I'd be lying if I said I'm not disappointed. My favorite time of the year for gaming is June, and a lot of that is because of Xbox and the events that they had. I've met and became friends with so many amazing people, yourself included, because of these events. Continues on here saying, I'm more disappointed that I won't be able to see some of these awesome people because the event isn't happening. But then goes on here and says, I don't think Xbox owes us as consumers to do these events, but it is disappointing that they are stepping away from the fans after years of doing this. We all know why, or can assume why, and it is understandable if you know what I'm talking about. A lot of trust was burnt because of that person, so I don't blame them for stepping back. I'm just more disappointed I won't be seeing some friends this year because of this. I don't blame Xbox for not putting on an event. I'm just disappointed it's not happening. I'll be honest, I have no idea what he's talking about, but if you do know in the comments below, please let me know or give me a hint of where I can see what he is talking about, because I have no idea what he's talking about. No Fan Fest this year. They were canceled because of the idiots called Satya Nadella. And then they just continue on here and everything. So people are very disappointed. You have Kay Asante here saying, I've only been there once, but it was a great experience. Disappointed that Xbox isn't having an in-person event this year, but I'm so grateful for Xbox Fan Fest 2024. Looking forward to the next time I get to reconnect with these amazing humans. So a lot of people out here thinking that this is it. It is over. No more in-person events going forward. This isn't going to be just for this year. This is going to be them going forward, and that we're only going to get digital showcases here for Xbox. And I wonder how many people will continue to be disappointed about this, and if there will be something else in the future that does replace this. Maybe they don't have it during the showcase. Maybe they have the Fan Fest at different points. Who knows? But it's unfortunate for people who enjoyed it, who have been there, people like myself who would have one day wanted to go there. But I mean, this point, that's going to be way off into the future if I ever do make it out to one of those events. I guess if you do want to get out there, there is still Summer Games Show or Summer Games Fest, whatever it's called. And then you get to go watch all of the other stuff that will be announced and shown off. All right, the next thing here, we got some more gameplay of The Outer Worlds 2. This game is coming out this year. This is another game from Obsidian, which is crazy because they just released Avowed and they have two teams, I guess, out there working on games. The Outer Worlds 2, I think, is going to be much better than Avowed overall. And we got 11 minutes of gameplay here with some more information about this game. I highly recommend going to check it out. I loved the first game, so I'm very excited here for The Outer Worlds 2, but we have Shinobi 602 here, who sums it all up in a nice summary of everything that we did see here. But here is a quick glimpse of the gameplay. Just right off of the bat, you can see this game looks great, looks beautiful. The colors are popping. You can tell it's gotten a little bit of that next generation shine to it when the other one came out, obviously on PS4 and the Xbox One. But here's what we know. Deeper RPG systems draws inspiration from immersive sims like Deus Ex and Dishonored, so that's cool to hear. True health system with better tools to make that playstyle viable, including melee weapons and skills for silent takedowns. One of the main things they showed off right away is they did show off here that there will be stealth. If you go right to the beginning of this clip, he goes up behind this guy with a knife and just stealth takes him down, which is cool. And one shots him. And it goes on here. It says enemy bars let you know if your stealth attack is powerful enough. Enemies will detect dead bodies and alert guards. You can acquire a skill that disintegrates bodies on the spot. There's an N-ray scanner, which lets you see certain objects and NPCs and enemies through walls. Some enemies can cloak themselves to be invisible. Improving gunplay has a major focus for Obsidian, citing Destiny as inspiration. Great to hear, because the Outer Worlds of gunplay was good. It was okay, but it could definitely be improved. And it looks like they're really focusing on that. Improved movement mechanics, more nimble sprint sliding while aiming down sight. And there's tactical time dilation, which is returning. So you can toss a grenade into a group, activate the TTD, and shoot it midair. He did that right at the start of this clip as well. You can see tosses a grenade, activates, and then shoots it out of midair to take out that other enemy, which was a nice touch here for the gameplay and the things that they were showing off. So game looks great. We're going to see more about it here on June 8th and get that, I'm sure, official release date, all of the pre-order information, if there's a special edition, Game Pass information, early access, all of that stuff. I am guessing we will be getting in just about 2 months from now. So it's another big game coming here, day one on Game Pass, first party from Xbox. So far, they're knocking it out of the park with the releases this year, and we have Doom in May to play as we get closer to the June showcase. Now, the other thing that Xbox is really going hard here with their first party games is going to be the launchers and where they're releasing it, and the Xbox Play Anywhere access. You buy it one place, you get access to it wherever the game is available within their ecosystem. And here is where we're going to be seeing the Outer Worlds 2, Battle.net, Xbox Game Pass, PC Game Pass, Xbox consoles, Xbox Cloud Gaming, and Xbox on PC. So the whole entire ecosystem. And this is going to be standard for all of their first party games. No matter where you get it, you could just pick it up on a different device, on a different screen, play it via the Xbox ecosystem, which is going to be a major selling point, I think, especially with their handhelds. And if they're going to be implementing the console experience within that handle where you get your console games, you want to play it on that, you want to play it on your PC at a different time, it's just going to be nice and seamless going forward, because it already is. I mean, if you've ever used Xbox Play Anywhere, you jump from one place to another, your saves there, you don't have to worry about anything. And it's one of the best features that Xbox has, and it's one of the features that Xbox just does significantly better out there than PlayStation and Nintendo, similarly to the game upgrades, which they do way better than PlayStation and Nintendo. I put a tweet out about that the other day, and the people who are in denial here about some of the great features that Xbox does have is crazy, because you would think if you're on PlayStation or you're on Nintendo as your main platform, you'd want those features to be brought over. But people just kind of get angry when you point out, I think, facts here when it comes to what one platform does over the other. All right, let's talk Titanfall 3. This is sad now. It is sad, disappointing, whatever you want to call it. It's annoying at this point, because the rumors surrounding Titanfall 3 seemingly seemed real. Like this game was coming out. You had this leaker here, Oswald Torre here on Twitter, saying more Titanfall 3 info. Unreal Engine 5, almost complete. It's a single player campaign with live service and battle passes. There's a main mode, which is extraction. There are other modes like TDM, control, arenas, all the Titanfall 2 classic modes, some returning Apex characters, and a weather system. And you had other reports out there seemingly confirming this, saying, yeah, these things are happening. It was all over the media. And now you have Jeff Grubb, who I think is very reliable. Whatever you can think about Jeff Grubb, whatever you want, but I think he's very reliable and gets a lot of stuff correct with the information he does put out. And he's basically calling this out and saying it isn't real. This rumor about Titanfall 3 isn't happening. This is one of these times that I hope he's wrong, but I'm going to lean on the side that, yeah, this Titanfall 3 rumor probably isn't going to be coming true. He basically put in his latest episode of Game Breaking News, he shot down the claims of the Apex Legends leaker Oswald Torre, saying, this isn't real. I'm sorry, it's not real. And then it says here, Grubb then went on to talk about Respawn having a small team that is probably messing around with games that have Titans in them, and says, does he, the Titanfall 1 director, Steve Fukuda, have something like a prototype that has Titans in it? I would guess so. I don't know for sure, but I would certainly assume that this is safe thing to think. He goes, now, is that going to get announced in 2025 and released in 2026? No way. And then touches here on the fact that EA has been on the trend of canceling various games at Respawn, and the cancellations include Titanfall Legends, which was the previous version of Titanfall 3, saying, do not expect an Unreal Engine 5 single-player campaign. Titanfall 3 with a full multiplayer suite, and it continues here saying that he hates being the one to rain on the parade, but he says, I'm not sure where this is coming from. Don't get your hopes up for Titanfall anytime soon. So I don't know. I'm going to go here with Jeff Grubb and say this isn't happening. I would say don't get your hopes up. If he's saying it's not happening, it's probably not in the works here. I don't see why he would just make that up or from other information he has put out there, he's gotten previous information why they wouldn't tell him from the insider's perspective. So that's sad. Maybe this will be that one time he's wrong, but it is sad if this doesn't come out because people want Titanfall 3 now. I think it would do very well if it did come out. I just don't think Respawn and EA see the money in it, and they just keep pushing it back and pushing it away. And obviously you have Vincent Pellina who's working on Battlefield and stuff. So there's a lot there that maybe with Respawn specifically, they are focusing on streamlining their games into the things that they know will make money. I mean, the Star Wars Jedi series did very good. Titanfall 2 did not make good profits. It didn't sell well. It did not do good as a game. So it's very hard to get another one greenlit, even if you have that hardcore fan base for the game wanting it and clamoring for it all the time. It's just unfortunate when you take a look at how good that game was from the single player perspective, and the multiplayer was a ton of fun. All right, a couple more things here. We'll first go over Assassin's Creed Shadows, then we'll go over some Nintendo Switch 2 news. But the Assassin's Creed Shadows here, there's that whole online stuff about whether it was successful or not. I believe it was successful from the numbers that have come out. I mean, we've basically seen, yes, it was from sales-wise, from players-wise, all of that. And it looks like it's already winning awards. And this is a game that just came out here in March. So, and it deserves it. The game is phenomenal. I'm still playing. I'll be playing this game probably for months on end because it is just that large. And I love just exploring the world itself. But it just won here Voice of the Players. And this is the PlayStation Players' Choice for March. It said it was voted for the best game of the month based on the results of a poll on the PlayStation blog, which is about as official as it gets. It says, admittedly, the competition wasn't all that strong in March, except the smash hit Hazelight game, Split Fiction. So it beat out Split Fiction, which was just praised by everyone, deservedly so. And it was potentially going to be up for, I think this one may be up for a game of the year, which would be crazy if Hazelight does end up winning 2 games of the year. They did with It Takes Two. And then let's see if Joseph Arias can pull it off again here with Split Fiction. And they do say here, I think that Assassin's Creed Shadows will go on to win some prestigious awards this year, as what Ubisoft produced was one of the best games we've seen in the series for many years. And I would agree with that. It is great. The more you play it, the more it expands out, the more skills you get, and the world continuously kind of keeps you in awe with how beautiful it is. So we'll see. We'll see how Shadows does as we continue throughout the year. If we get official sales numbers, will it end up in any nominations for the Game Awards? That will be an interesting thing to see as well. All right, couple more things here when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2. So first of all, the whole debacle here around the pre-orders in the United States and them coming out and saying they had to assess what the new tariffs were going to do before they came out with an official pre-order date. And then Canada kind of fell into that as well when they at the last minute pulled pre-orders. Who knows why? I'm thinking either price raises coming for Canada and the United States, or they just didn't want Americans to buy all the Canadian Nintendo Switch 2, so they're just going to be launching pre-orders at the exact same time. It looks like here there could be some movement on that coming relatively soon, as we do have good news. The tariffs, once again, go with the back and forth with them. They have been paused here for 90 days. Trump put out this big thing here. I'm not going to read the beginning parts, all about China and everything, but he says here, I have authorized a 90-day pause and a substantially lower reciprocal tariff during this period of 10%, also effective immediately, which means the tariffs on Vietnam and everything, those things are on pause. And you would assume that Nintendo is now going to be able to figure out the costs here, the pre-orders, because this will last beyond the actual release of the Switch 2 here on June 5th. And I'm hoping this means that we can get a pre-order date here for Americans, for Canadians, so we can know when and if we do want to end up getting in on that and picking this thing up on day one when it does launch. But that looks like it will be good news here for more information and more pre-order dates coming for those two countries. Of course, it's already been out in the UK, and we've already seen that Amazon is canceling people in other countries trying to pre-order the UK version of the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, when it comes to something that I like, because I was one of my favorite consoles, which was the Nintendo GameCube, and Nintendo has done some cool stuff here with re-releasing their old controllers, their wireless and everything. Like they've done an NES, they've done Super Nintendo, they've done an N64, and now they're coming out here with a Nintendo GameCube controller. Well, this to me is an absolutely stupid move. I don't know why they would do this, but it looks like the GameCube controller will only be compatible with that Nintendo Switch Online GameCube catalog that they will be releasing here on the Nintendo Switch 2. You're not going to be able to use this with just regular Nintendo Switch 2 games, which is a huge head scratcher. And I'm hoping this is something they could just patch out and make it available for every single game on the Switch 2. This comes via this picture here that did come out, and it says Nintendo GameCube controller available Switch 2 launch day. It's available for Nintendo Switch Online members. And they say here, the controller is only compatible with Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo Classics, meaning that you can't play this with Nintendo Switch 2 games, which you should absolutely be able to. There's no reason why you wouldn't be able to. The buttons are there and you could get everything out of it and play those games in the same fashion, but they're looking like, as of this point, they're only keeping it to the online service. And it's probably because they want these controllers to be a reason why people sign up to online. It forces them to go ahead and not just buy it and not be able to use it. If you're going to go buy this GameCube controller, for most people, aside from the collectors, you're probably going to want to use it. And to do that, you're going to have to sign up for the GameCube games on Nintendo Switch Online. Now, I love GameCube. I thought they had some amazing games. But the reality is, it would have been cool as well to be able to use this with the Switch 2 games. In fact, on my current Nintendo Switch, I have the Nixie controller, which is a replica of the GameCube. And I use that attached to my Nintendo Switch. So there's absolutely no reason why they wouldn't be able to get this thing to work with Nintendo Switch 2 games. It's just, I think, to push people to go ahead and force them basically to sign up to Nintendo Switch Online. And finally, when it comes to the release of the Switch 2, it looks like they won't be releasing it in China, at least as of right now whatsoever. They say here that Nintendo has reportedly chosen to postpone the release of Switch 2 in mainland China as it continues to analyze demand and government regulations. This is from Nikkei reporting that Nintendo is expected to see what demand there is for the Switch 2 before it decides to release the console in a country which has seen increasingly stringent government regulations regarding video games over the years. In fact, in China, the Nintendo Switch is sold in collaboration with Tencent, the Chinese tech giant that owns dozens of developers and other tech firms. And according to Nikkei, Tencent declined to comment when asked if it would be distributing the Switch 2 in China as well. And they say here that they're currently in the process of shutting down the Switch eShop and other online services in China. So who knows what is going to happen there. But yeah, there's completely different rules there. There's different controls of how these consoles get out. So Nintendo is just at this point holding off before they release it. And who knows if they will ever end up releasing it between now and whenever the Switch 2 generation does end. But I will end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video.